Hey there, fellow Americans. In a groundbreaking development that's sending shockwaves through the nation, President Biden has just signed into law what many are calling the most significant Social Security reform in decades. This historic legislation, championed by Senator Bernie Sanders, promises to deliver a substantial $3,700 raise and an additional $400 monthly benefit to all eligible Americans. But what does this really mean for you and your family? Stay tuned to find out all the details, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button and notification bell to stay updated on the latest news affecting your financial future. The journey to this momentous reform began in the halls of Congress, where Senator Bernie Sanders, long known as a fierce advocate for working Americans, introduced what seemed like an ambitious proposal to overhaul the Social Security system. Many skeptics initially dismissed it as too progressive or financially unfeasible. But how did this transformation from a seemingly impossible dream to signed legislation actually happen? The answer lies in a perfect storm of economic conditions, political will, and growing public demand for meaningful change in our social safety net. Let's break down the numbers that matter to you. The new law includes a substantial $3,700 annual raise for Social Security recipients, which translates to approximately $308 monthly increase in benefits. But that's not all. The legislation also provides an additional $400 monthly supplement, bringing the total monthly increase to roughly $708 for most beneficiaries. When was the last time we saw such a significant boost to Social Security benefits? You'd have to look back to the program's early days to find comparable increases. The funding mechanism for this historic increase has been carefully structured to ensure long-term sustainability. The legislation implements a modified version of Sanders' original proposal to lift the cap on payroll taxes for high-income earners. Currently, earnings above $160,200 aren't subject to Social Security taxes, but under the new law, this cap will be gradually eliminated for those earning over $400,000 annually. This change alone is projected to secure the program's solvency for the next 75 years, but how will it affect different income groups? For middle-class Americans, this reform represents a significant victory. The average Social Security recipient, who currently receives about $1,827 monthly, will see their benefits increase to approximately $2,535 per month. This raise isn't just a response to inflation. It's designed to help seniors and disabled Americans maintain a dignified standard of living in an increasingly expensive world. But what about younger workers who are years away from retirement? How does this reform affect their future benefits? The legislation includes provisions specifically designed to protect future generations. The new law establishes a more generous formula for calculating initial benefits, ensuring that today's workers will receive higher benefits when they retire. Additionally, it introduces a new minimum benefit level set at 125% of the federal poverty line, ensuring that no senior will retire into poverty after a lifetime of work. Could this be the solution to America's looming retirement crisis? One of the most innovative aspects of the reform is its approach to cost of living adjustments, COLAs. The new law adopts the Consumer Price Index for the elderly, CPIE, instead of the current CPIW, which better reflects the spending patterns of seniors. This change will result in more accurate and generally higher annual adjustments. But why is this change so significant, and how will it affect benefits over time? The impact of this reform extends beyond just the dollar amounts. The legislation includes provisions to protect and expand benefits for vulnerable groups, including widows, widowers, and caregivers. It introduces credits for individuals who take time out of the workforce to care for family members, ensuring that their future benefits aren't penalized for their sacrifices. What does this mean for the millions of Americans who provide unpaid care for loved ones? Healthcare costs have long been a major concern for seniors, and this reform addresses that head-on. The legislation includes provisions to better coordinate Social Security benefits with Medicare, including measures to prevent excessive Medicare premium increases from eating into Social Security raises. But how will this integration work in practice, and what safeguards are in place to ensure its effectiveness? The implementation timeline for these changes is carefully phased to ensure smooth transition. The $3,700 raise and $400 monthly supplement will begin rolling out within 6 months of the bill's signing, with full implementation expected within the first year. However, some of the structural changes, like the payroll tax cap adjustment, will be gradually implemented over several years. What should beneficiaries do to prepare for these changes? Critics of the reform have raised concerns about its impact on the federal budget and potential inflationary effects. However, supporters point to the self-funding nature of the program through dedicated payroll taxes and the economic stimulus effect of putting more money in the hands of seniors who tend to spend it in their local communities. But what does economic research tell us about the impact of increased Social Security benefits on local economies? The reform also includes significant administrative improvements to the Social Security system. The legislation provides funding for modernizing the Social Security Administration's technology infrastructure, reducing wait times for disability determinations, and improving customer service. How will these changes affect the millions of Americans who interact with the Social Security Administration each year? For current workers, the reform provides peace of mind about the program's future. The combination of increased funding through the modified payroll tax cap and more generous benefit calculations means that younger workers can count on Social Security being there for them when they retire. But what steps should workers take to maximize their future benefits under the new system? The legislation's impact on special categories of beneficiaries deserves particular attention. For disabled workers, the reform includes provisions to streamline the application process and reduce waiting periods for benefits. Survivors' benefits are also enhanced, providing better protection for families who lose a breadwinner. How do these changes compare to the current system, and what improvements can beneficiaries expect? One of the most debated aspects of the reform was its treatment of the retirement age. Unlike previous reform proposals, this legislation maintains the current full retirement age while providing incentives for delayed retirement through enhanced benefit calculations. What factors should workers consider when deciding when to claim benefits under the new system? The international perspective on this reform is noteworthy. Many developed nations have already implemented similar measures to strengthen their social security systems. How does this reform compare to retirement systems in other countries, and what lessons can we learn from their experiences? The role of state governments in complementing this federal reform is also significant. Many states are considering or have already implemented programs to supplement Social Security benefits. How will these state-level initiatives interact with the new federal benefits, and what opportunities exist for further coordination? Looking at the economic implications, economists project that this reform will have a significant positive impact on reducing elderly poverty rates and stimulating local economies. Studies suggest that Social Security benefits are typically spent quickly and locally, creating a multiplier effect in communities. But how can communities best prepare to maximize the economic benefits of this increased spending power? The reform's impact on different demographic groups varies. Women, who typically have lower lifetime earnings and longer life expectancies, stand to benefit significantly from the new caregiver credits and enhanced minimum benefits. Minority communities, who often have lower average Social Security benefits, will see substantial improvements under the new formula. What specific provisions address historical inequities in the system? For financial planners and retirement advisors, this reform necessitates a complete reassessment of retirement planning strategies. The enhanced benefits and new calculation methods change the mathematics of retirement planning. How should retirement savings strategies be adjusted to account for these changes? The technology aspects of implementing this reform are substantial. The Social Security Administration will need to upgrade its systems to handle the new benefit calculations and payment structures. What challenges might arise during this technological transition, and how are they being addressed? The reform's impact on employer-sponsored retirement plans is also significant. Some employers may adjust their pension or 401(k) plans in response to the enhanced Social Security benefits. How should workers evaluate their employer-provided retirement benefits in light of these changes? The political implications of this reform are far-reaching. It represents a rare moment of bipartisan cooperation on a major social program, potentially setting a precedent for future reforms of other government programs. What lessons can be drawn from the political process that led to this successful reform? The role of advocacy groups and grassroots organizations in achieving this reform cannot be understated. Years of persistent advocacy and public education helped build the political will necessary for this change. How can citizens continue to engage in the ongoing implementation and potential future improvements of the program? For small business owners, the reform includes provisions to help them adjust to the changes in payroll taxes and benefit calculations. What resources and support are available to help businesses implement these changes effectively? The reform's impact on self-employed individuals deserves special attention. The self-employed pay both the employer and employee portions of Social Security taxes, and the reform includes specific provisions to help them manage these obligations. What strategies can self-employed individuals use to optimize their benefits under the new system? Looking to the future, this reform sets a new baseline for social insurance in America. It demonstrates that significant improvements to our social safety net are possible with sufficient political will and public support. What other areas of social policy might be ripe for similar reforms? The global economic context of this reform is important to consider. With many countries facing aging populations and retirement security challenges, America's approach could influence policy decisions worldwide. How might this reform affect international discussions about retirement security and social insurance? For younger Americans, this reform provides an opportunity to rebuild trust in the Social Security system. The guaranteed funding and enhanced benefits offer assurance that the program will be there for future generations. What role can younger Americans play in ensuring the continued success of the program? The reform's implementation will require significant public education efforts. The Social Security Administration and other organizations will need to help beneficiaries understand their new benefits and options. What resources will be available to help people navigate these changes? The impact on retirement communities and services for the elderly will be substantial. The increased benefits will affect everything from housing affordability to healthcare services. How can communities prepare for these changes and ensure that enhanced benefits translate into improved quality of life for seniors? As we conclude this comprehensive overview of the historic Social Security reform, it's clear that its effects will be far-reaching and long-lasting. The combination of the $3,700 raise and $400 monthly supplement, along with the structural improvements to the program, represents a significant step forward in ensuring retirement security for all Americans. What steps will you take to make the most of these new benefits? Remember to subscribe to our channel for ongoing coverage of this historic reform and its implementation. We'll continue to bring you detailed analysis and practical advice as these changes roll out. Drop your questions in the comments below, and don't forget to share this video with friends and family who might benefit from this important information. Together, we can ensure that everyone understands and maximizes their Social Security benefits under this groundbreaking new law.